Hello again. We are at a point in our Rotary year that we are calling for nominations from the clubs for our district governor years 2017-18. There's a process that is detailed on the website, the district website. And I'll give that information a little later on. But there's a process that you go through, and a club would go through in nominating a candidate. The first, of course, is to determine who within your club or within your acquaintance would be a worthy candidate to become district governor. There are some minimum qualifications that are required by Rotary International. Number one, the candidate must be a member in good standing of a Rotary club. Number two, the candidate must have been a member of a Rotary club for at least 7 years, the year that they would take office as district governor. Number three, the candidate must have served a full term as a president of a Rotary club, or if it was a chartered club, you're allowed to only have to have served a 6-month term. The candidate must be willing and able to assume the responsibilities of district governor. These are some of the minimum qualifications that are required. Beyond the minimum qualifications, however, there are a couple of other areas that bear mentioning. Certainly, to become district governor, it would be good to have a knowledge of the workings of the district beyond the club level. Perhaps serving as an assistant governor would be a good example, or a chairman, for example, of one of the committees, say foundation. Perhaps being active in youth exchange, either as a chair or as a committee member. But in general, you can understand just having a good knowledge of how the district works. It would be very helpful. The other part of it that you need to take into account, of course, is being able to, once entering the area of becoming district governor, having the time to do it, be willing to look at the commitment that's involved, because it's really not just a one-year commitment. You serve as district governor nominee, district governor-elect, and then finally district governor. And also, as a past district governor, you do have some responsibilities. There's a good deal of travel that's involved, attending, for example, the International Assembly in San Diego, where a candidate would receive training to become district governor. Of course, attending PETS, President-elect training, dealing with your presidents that would be presidents during your year. So there's a number of meetings that will take place over the course of the time as a nominee, as an elect, and then as finally district governor. And then following up as the past district governor, taking the knowledge that you've gained during all that time and sharing it with the candidates that are coming up. So there's a process involved, and it's important that a candidate understand the process and be willing to take the time and have the interest of taking the time to cause that to happen. There's a few practical considerations that need to be addressed, of course. For example, your health. Is he or she in a state of health that will allow them to take on this responsibility, which includes a lot of travel? I can't help but to emphasize that. It's going to take a lot of travel and a lot of energy. So how's your health? Secondly, how's your time? Will you have time to share being a candidate, you have time to share taking on all of the roles of the district governor-elect, district governor nominee, and then district governor, if that's district governor, taking on those roles, but sharing that time that it will take with your family, with your other interests. So, some other things that are, not quite as dramatic, but how's your computer skills? Mine weren't very good when I became a district governor, but I learned very quickly the value of having some good computer skills and being fast on my feet when it came to email and the web and all of that area. So there's some of the things that are the practical considerations that you need to think about. Have you attended district conference? Have you attended an international convention? These are other experiences that would help you in your roles as as I said, there's a call for nominations, and that call for nominations is, the deadline on that is December 31st, 2014. The candidate there must be a club resolution adopted at a regular membership meeting, and that you are supported as a past president, and it must be dated and signed by the club president and secretary. That has to be submitted to me by the end of December. So that leaves a few meetings yet to go to get that done, to get your candidate into the mix. There are a number of Rotarians who agreed to serve on the nominating committee. It's a wide representation from the district, from Southeast, South Central, Fairbanks, Nome, Kenai Peninsula, pretty much around the district. So there's inclusion in terms of considerations on what's important in those areas to have the district governor's skill. And we also have the benefit of past district governor Peggy Paul, who will serve on the nominee. You will, as a candidate, you will be expected to submit an information sheet, which is due on the 10th of January. And it will, it's a fairly short form, but it'll outline your background, it'll outline your interests, it will tell us why you think you should be district governor. And then those items will be reviewed by the nominating committee, and then you'll be invited to attend the nominating committee for a personal interview, and that will take place February 5th. That's about it in terms of electing the new district governor. As I said earlier in your meeting, it is an honor and a privilege and an experience of a lifetime. And so get out there, find your candidate, and make sure he or she is in for consideration this year.
Floyd, how does being district governor change or help you grow as a Rotarian?
Well, it opens up a number of doors, and that's a very good question, by the way. It opens up a number of doors that are available only to district governors. Serving on the Council of Legislation, for example. Being a president's representative at other district conference, representing the president at other district conference. Serving on the various committees for the zone, which is a collection. The zone is a collection of Rotary clubs from a given area, but serving on the zone in a leadership position. So it broadens the avenues of opportunity for you that come from district government.
So you can't serve at Rotary International unless you've been a district governor. Is that correct?
You cannot. Yeah, your advancement is as district governor. There are certain functions within Rotary International that require, as part qualifications I would have district governor. For example, to be a director of Rotary International. And of course, the president of Rotary International. Those all will be required to have the experience of having been a district governor.
And how has it impacted you being a past district governor? How has that impacted you personally?
It's broadened my horizons and given me a chance to give back to various communities through the exposure of being district governor. For example, I've been president's representative, representing the president in Iceland, in districts throughout the lower 48, and that opened up opportunities for projects between districts. It's broadened our base in terms of interaction within other districts, ways of doing business better for Rotary, in that manner.
So, a number of years ago, we used to be connected with Russia, and that presented some challenges. How has the district governor position changed since then?
Well, the biggest, probably the single biggest difference is that as district governor, you're required to visit each club in your district during the year. And you can imagine when we had some 40 clubs in Alaska-Yukon and some 40 clubs in Russia, it was quite a daunting task, the distances involved. So that's probably one of the single biggest differences is the time commitments are far less, the travel commitments are far less. Having said that, covering Alaska-Yukon is no small task. With the 40-some clubs we have, you're looking at typically a district governor will spend the first 3 months of his tenure visiting clubs. The theory being it's good to get out to see the clubs early in your year so that suggestions that might help or changes that might be under consideration are addressed early in the year so you have an entire year to go on. But 40 clubs in Alaska-Yukon, I get back to the personal considerations. Are you healthy enough to cause that to happen? And comfortable enough with all that travel, being away from family. So that's a challenge, and probably the biggest difference. Although there was a little language consideration too. The meetings in Russia tended to last a lot longer because they had to be conducted both in Russian and English to make any sense. It was a great experience, I have to say that.
Well, Lloyd, thank you so much for opening your home and giving us more information about the district governor nomination.